Welcome to the Composer of the Month series brought to you by the Composer Society of Singapore. I am Pei Im, the Publicity Exco member for CSS. Today, I'll be sharing more about local composer Tan Zheng Rui and his works. His works involve delving into the idea of physicality, and he is also interested in exploring the extremities of treatment of sound.
Like many others, I only began learning music when I took up the music elective program, or MEP in short, in secondary 1. My passion for music had not really bloomed, as I was just a confused amateur who constantly absorbed anything and everything around me, yet not truly appreciating anything. Things changed during the pandemic when I had time to be exposed to much more things. It was also when my passion for music was discovered, as I religiously did lots of self-study, self-exploration, and self-listening. I often find myself joining online communities to engage in various discussions and hunt for many resources to quench this thirst for learning. Although I was primarily trained in Western classical music, being in a Chinese orchestra exposed me to this different realm of music. I can still vaguely remember during this period in secondary school, my primitive experiences when writing were more of trial and error, or perhaps modeling and imitating some style. My passion further grew in these 2 years when I was in my music program in JC, and it was also during then when I found my deepest passion in contemporary music. While there wasn't a focus on contemporary music in school, I continued listening to much more music to shape my perceptions in composition and writing styles. During this period, I also joined several composition workshops as a stepping stone for my journey in becoming a composer. I was also looking forward to various opportunities that enable my music to be heard. Along the way, I also met and made amazing friends with many passionate contemporaries who inspired and motivated me, including young composers and performers. Currently, although my artistic and musical taste, perceptions, and judgment are still evolving, I know more clearly what I want to achieve in every piece of music I write. It's just like a little research project, you know. I would also like to take this time to thank my friends Joan, Jalal, and Pingdin for guiding me to develop myself as a composer. So a little spoiler alert for a modicum of physics dump over here. Coincidentally, I was working on my physics tutorial when I was writing this piece, and my mind was just overwhelmed with physics concepts during then. One of which is how sound possesses both a wave and particulate nature. In this piece, I perceived sound to be a big ball, as if an amalgamation of particles. In physics, it is thought that objects with a larger mass experience a greater inertia, by Newton's first law. This means that when the object is at rest, it will be more challenging for this object to be in motion, and when the object is moving, it will be more challenging for the object to come to a rest, unless an external force acts on this object. This concept is being musicalized and used in the development of my music through occasional start-stop gestures and momentum-driven gestures. Also, Newton's second law states that the resultant force is proportional to the rate of change of linear momentum. This becomes more evident towards the end of my music when my music loses this energy from the beginning, as if an exhaustion to overcome inertia. It was my first time working with electronics too, where it was used to interact with the acoustic instruments and to shape a malleable sonic space, which reacts and changes when new effects, which behaves like these external forces, trigger these changes. I would like to thank Dr. Tan Zheng and Bertram for helping me and guiding me with the electronics. There is this saying somewhere, we are what we consume. And I find this saying veracious. I guess that is why it has become a saying. Interesting things or sounds that I research on, experiment, or ponder upon is usually due to the works I have listened to, or things that I have learned from people. For instance, my first foray into electronics led me to listen to more works involving electronics, and I learned of such things like granular synthesis. Thereafter, I just find various resources online that are able to enlighten me on how to actually execute it on my own. Nevertheless, due to my examination priorities, I faced time constraints and temporarily halted my exploration in this realm of electronics. Since I was in Chinese orchestra, I had access to various instruments in the room. I remember having to test out some extended techniques for a percussion piece I wrote a year ago. I experimented with different ways of playing a cymbal, like the angle between both cymbal plates when both plates clash with each other, bowing techniques, as well as playing with the resonance, as a means of timbre variation. I still remember my friends being worried and doubting if I would actually damage the instruments. Nevertheless, thankfully, they are still in good condition. I also wrote a solo cello piece for Martin Yagi during YCA when Prof. Peter Edwards recommended me to listen to Dai Fujikura's Deliquest. In that cello work, I developed this material which just comprised a specific vibrato line. It was really interesting writing that piece while discovering the capabilities of the cello and working with Martin. Currently, I'm taking my national exams and I still have to be enlisted for 2 years afterwards. Nevertheless, I plan to further my studies at the Yonsei Conservatory of Music in composition. During this period, although I don't have any projects in mind, I will still continue to train myself compositionally, with this motivation to continually write better music. However, I'm open to collaborating with anyone on any projects since I believe in mutual growth as artists, increased exposure to available opportunities, and widening a small contemporary music or even arts community. As much as I am excited and eager to seek for various opportunities as my learning experiences, I think we can all just look forward to any of my music in the future.
Thank you for watching our video. Do like, share and subscribe in order to get more updates, and see you soon for the next series of the Composer of the Month in November. Bye!